The discipline of product management itself teaches you a lot about marketing or legal compliance or privacy or security or accessibility or the design visual element of your product itself. And then eventually, how do you productize it? How do you strategize on making profits out of it? And how do you capture your market? Are you even making the right product? Should it be the right pace? What is the competition doing? So, knowing all of that itself will make you quite enriched in an experience to build something from ground zero to up to 100, right?
Mhm.
So it does provide you with a good launch pad.
Welcome to another episode of Product Unfiltered. Today we have Seema Bansal, a seasoned product manager at Microsoft Teams, as a guest. Seema graduated from Carnegie Mellon University with a major in product innovation and management and has a technical background in computer science engineering. She has been a speaker at the prestigious Grace Hopper Conference and has been instrumental in launching several successful features during tenure at Microsoft. Seema's insight into world of product management, particularly as a coach for many early in career PMs, are sure to be enlightening. We are thrilled to have her on the show today. Thank you so much, Seema.
Thank you for having me.
So, so
Excited.
yeah, so Seema, we would love to start the podcast by your journey. What inspired you to pursue a career in product management, and how did you get started in this field?
Well, if I think about it as a career transition, it's been quite a long and winding road. But if I think about just as a product manager, I would say I'd always been a curious kid. So as a kid in the school, I would be the one asking so many questions about, wait, why are we learning this? Is it even relevant? Or what would happen if we do this? Or could this be productized? Or could this be a different way of solution? And as a kid, my eyes will twinkle up bright if I see something visually appealing as a design. And I'd always been so attracted to that element. And even today, I keep this little note where I think about, oh, this problem could be solved in a different manner. And could this be productized? Could this be a startup idea? And that just so I feel a product manager role just comes very natural to me.
Mhm. So, Seema, we also see that you have a technical background. You have done your engineering in computer science. So, how does that technical background helps you in your day-to-day work as a product manager?
Well, it does lay a very solid foundation for being a product manager in a technical team or a technical company. I would say it really helps to establish credibility with your engineering counterpart. Whenever you're thinking about defining a product feature, you start to think about its operational excellence. You start to think about, could there be other ways to solve this a similar problem? And all of that muscle comes to you if you have a technical background, and that really helps me as well.
Yeah. And Seema, since the COVID pandemic, Microsoft Teams has been a very popular tool for remote work and virtual collaboration. So, as a product manager, can you share with us how you and your team are addressing the challenges, the changing needs of users in the current virtual ecosystem?
When COVID hit, we all became part of this giant, unnatural experiment of working from home. And Teams became the tool to go to as your office space or this digital headquarter, as you will. And that originated multiple innovative ideas among the PM team, design team, engineering team. For engineering team, it was all about scaling up. For PM team, it was about, oh, there are different unmet needs now that we need to go tap into. And therefore, we seek inspiration from all of these research reports that have been generated, and even our own experiences or our users of studies. And we look into how can we solve this problem of collaboration in a simple, unified, boundaryless manner, where people can bring their best self to work and feel productive. And it's a journey, and we continue to iterate and innovate each and every day.
hmm So, Seema, you have worked for Microsoft Teams, which is one of the fastest growing applications. So, what are your key learnings when you're a product manager? It's such a dynamic environment where things change so rapidly. How do you keep up to the pace and innovate?
Not just as a PM for teams, even like across my entire tenure of being a product manager, there have been multiple nuggets of learnings I've captured across the way from my mentors, from my peers, and designers, engineers, etc. And my favorite here, the one that I want to share is be a key maker and not a gatekeeper. Now think about that for a moment. What really mean by this: when you are a product manager, you're working with really cross-functional set of people that you don't really directly manage, and you work with them. They co-own some elements and aspects of your product. So, for example, let's say you are a product manager of this coffee cup, and this another PM or a designer and engineer comes to you and say, "Hey, I have this idea to put up a lid on this cup." Okay, and then you, being a product manager, you think about, well, putting up a lid on this product is not a feature I've been planning to put on this product strategy roadmap. So therefore, no, that's not happening. But what I meant by being a key maker was, well, you can go and think about maybe there is a need for people to keep their drink warmer for a longer duration, and therefore they want to change and introduce a lid. And perhaps that opens up this new box of inspiration and ideas. Well, maybe we can change the material of the cup so that it can keep the drink warmer for a longer duration. So that's been a game changer as a learning for me as in my growth as a product manager, and I really feel very inspired and optimistic about this learning to be shared.
hmm
That's so inspiring. And in fact, Seema, as a product manager, we know a product manager wears multiple hats. You are responsible for design, business, engineering, and also you have to manage so many stakeholders. So what we would love to understand is what are some key qualities which you actually look in your team members when you plan to hire someone in your team?
Mm, I would say two things. One is potential, and that potential can be coming from your passion to do something. I'd rather choose someone who's not that technically sound because technical skills can come along the way. I'd rather have someone who's passionate to do something, to be a problem solver, to go make this change happen, and be receptive to changes too. So I really look into the potential whenever I'd like to build my own team. And secondly is diversity of opinions, and when you can actually go and have a really strong disagreement with someone and still commit and make a change anyway.
hmm
So diversity could be coming in from people from different geography backgrounds, race, or educational background, and opinions. So I look for both of those two things.
Perfect. So, Seema, we have also seen that out of so many things which a product manager does, prioritization becomes one of the key role in the job profile. So, how do you prioritize product features and decide what to focus on while building the product roadmap?
Well, it is one of the things that no other product manager loves to do. It's prioritization. But however, you have to go and build muscle for this because as a PM, you would have tons of amazing ideas sitting in the parking lot. And you would create this ginormous wish list for you to go and for the product team to take and build upon things. However, eventually you would have to stream that line down, need to make some call outs, need to make some hard cuts. So how would you go about doing it? And we are blessed in PM community to have so many frameworks, tools to help us. There are RISE scores that you can go and build and make a decision upon. Even though it's not that science, sometimes it can be a bit of an art to it as well. And it could be your experience of talking to customers as well. So I think it eventually boils down to two things: the effort and the impact. So if the effort is too high, impact is too low, just maybe not do it right now, right? But it could be that effort is high, impact is also high, then okay, let's have a discussion, kind of a conversation you have. So, and then whenever you are really stuck in these two things, okay, are you have set X number of engineers, you can't really have both the things going into the same sprint or the year. You ask this question to your product team, okay, what's the consequence of not doing A over B? And then you'll have your answer. Hopefully you will have your answer.
So Seema, something which really intrigues me about what you mentioned right now about the frameworks is, as aspiring PMs, we learn about many product management frameworks, be it RISE or be it Circles method. But are these frameworks actually used when you work as a product manager in an organization like Microsoft?
Absolutely, yes. We use these frameworks to help establish a crude list of things, stack rank them. We use these frameworks in our daily lives. Yes, that it's a strong yes.
Okay. And in fact, a very important part about using these frameworks is data. So now shifting gears and talking about the importance of data in product management. As a product manager, you have to consider so many different aspects, right? From customer interviews to the data. So according to you, Seema, what role does data-driven insights play in your decision-making process in product management as compared to intuition and your previous experience?
I would say data is or should be the only driver here. Your intuition should not be. And I've seen many products actually failing or features failing because you are eventually designing the product for yourself, and that's not the right way to look into it. Now, think about this. Like, I am working as a product manager for a product being used by 300 million users. And those users can be pilots, teachers, students, workers, hospital workers. And I may not know each and every need or requirement that might be completely distant from the one that I'm currently using the product for. So, therefore, we rely heavily on the data to learn about the engagement patterns, to learn about um, what should be the next move or what should be the next role of investment that we should be going to take a look into. What's the usage of the thing that we have built so hard and put all the love and heart and our blood, sweat, energy to build into, but it's not being used at all? So, did we even have a right hypothesis to start with? So, we heavily define and matrices and anchor our thinking for the roadmap and the vision that we want to go fulfill later on data.
Sure. So, Seema, one more thing which aspiring product managers these days are trying to figure out is with the rapid changing in the technology, how do you foresee the future of product management shaping out? And what are some of the skill sets which aspiring product managers should gain now so that in future they can also become product leaders?
That's a hard one. I think I'm even constantly learning each and every day, and I cannot say that you can be a person who knows it all. Um, you may want to tap into your core skill set, and you eventually, whenever you start, okay, when you think about your own growth as a product manager, and you want to project yourself as a product leader, you tend to develop this personality of being a T. So you know horizontally what's happening, and you gain understanding of doing research, user research importance, and operational excellence of your features and all of those elements of building a product. But eventually you want to drill down and anchor yourself heavily on the market space itself. That's where you lean into. That helps any product manager for that particular product space. I would go to the extent of saying, okay, now that you have developed this T personality and you know the depth and the works of this product space, you can still take those and translate them into any other segment as well. Because you have developed your muscle to go and dig down deep onto this other tertiary product space, but you can take those skills and carry them forward in the next space as well.
That's very true. And we would also love to hear, how do you foresee the future of product management? What do you think? How are we going to transition with the disruptive technologies coming in?
uh, all of these tools are available today. I think sometimes I feel things are all over the place. So you're taking notes in one thing, you're defining your schedule in one thing, you're drafting your specs in another thing, you're managing your product shipment, your feature shipment in another thing. And then you have your research capabilities and your research notes stored in some other A/B testing tool. And therefore, I find that today the information is quite fragmented for your own product itself. Moving forward, if I were to go foresee that, I would read the tea leaves and say maybe eventually there might be one place, one dashboard, one view where you can actually go and have all of those insights baked into one view. You can go and fetch any information you want to learn about for your product space, and you may not be having to go look into multiple places. You would have some smarter tools to generate insights for you, to generate report out for you to know, keep up on all the top task lists for you. So that'd be dream. Maybe a near dream that might already be happening. You never know. So
That sounds actually really interesting. It's like building an AI powered CMS for product managers, which could act as a personal assistant. I'm sure that sounds really interesting.
Now we'll switch gears and move on to the next segment of our podcast, the product paradox. So in this segment, we basically put you in a situation where we'll give you two options, this or that. There might not be a right answer to it, but we just want to understand from your lens that if Seema is in a certain situation, what will she choose? So my first
is it like a rapid fire?
Not a rapid fire. You can also justify it. So my first question to you, Seema, is it better for a product manager to have a deep understanding of technology behind the product, or to have a strong understanding of your customers' needs and their pain points?
I would lie on the side of having understanding of the needs and requirements, and perhaps you can have such a strong relationship with your engineering partner that they can take care of the technology that they're building on top of. Yeah, although both of them are important, but I'd lean on the other side.
Yeah. And Seema, when creating a product roadmap, should a product manager focus more on short-term goals and quick wins, or on the long-term vision and innovation?
I would say it depends on the maturity of the product. So let's say if you're a startup, then maybe you may want to just focus on small wins and focus on getting your MVP out of the door, and then build up on, okay, let's learn from this, iterate on this, and then keep evolving and have your roadmap as a living space, then actually just set in the stone kind of a thing. Yeah.
There's also one notion out there, Seema, in the market that it becomes very easy for a person who is a product manager to eventually enter into the startup space or enter into the entrepreneurship domain. So do you think is that's the scenario, and it becomes easier for a product manager because they're building products, so it's easier for them to tomorrow build a company?
It surely helps. Why would it not? When you're doing something at a small scale, even that is a learning that you can carry it forward and translate into something amazing, awesome, and big. The discipline of product management itself teaches you a lot about marketing or legal compliance or privacy or security or accessibility or the design visual element of your product itself. And then eventually, how do you productize it? How do you strategize on making profits out of it? And how do you capture your market? Are you even making the right product? Should it be the right pace? What is the competition doing? So knowing all of that itself will make you quite enriched in an experience to build something from ground zero to up to 100, right? So it does provide you with a good launch pad to any new project, idea, program that you want to go and fulfill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, Seema, as we are moving towards the end of the podcast, we would love to understand what all are some of the key resources which you refer regularly to keep yourself updated with the market trends and understand more about product management space in general.
I would recommend people to go listen to your podcast as well because I think I had so much of fun.
Thank you.
And I'd love to hear other people's perspective as well as you generate content from other technical product managers. For myself, I lean on to read psychology behind user needs and requirements.
Mhm.
Why do people choose A over B, and what drives a decision? It may lean into more about user research. I love that element about uh, for any new idea that you want to launch, you want to base your hypothesis on some data and some uh, some meaty, chewy content from people that are already doing X and Y is that, right?
Mhm.
So I really love that element, and I seek sources from books around the world for that.
Mhm.
Um, I work on a communication platform. It's used by multiple people, and people are personalities. People work in different time zones. People come from different backgrounds. So it's that human psychology that really intrigues me and keeps me inspired to fulfill needs for everyone. And we just spoke about the diversity in building our product. I think that really grounds me into knowing who I'm designing the product for because people can be strange and work in mysterious ways. So
Mhm.
I love doing that.
Okay. So now to give the right closure to the podcast, we would love to have you share some of the advice for aspiring product managers who are aiming to enter into the product space, and also if there is a success mantra which Seema follows to be a successful product manager, we would love to hear that.
Okay. I don't know if I'm there yet to be giving success mantras. I do like to follow that don't be a PM who wants to do it all, meaning put each and every feature that comes to your idea and then put it into the product, kind of a PM. Be quite diligent. You need to know when to sunset some features because you need to develop that muscle. Although that might be your pet favorite feature, if it's not aligned with the strategy and not going with the use case that you had thought it would go for, just sunset it.
Mhm.
So don't be the PM who wants to really do it all. So sometimes you want to add some new, amazing, innovative, delightful features, but the foundation layer of your product itself is quite dilapidated and you think it's crumbly and it's buggy and there's so many inconsistencies in the operational element of the feature itself or the product itself, and you're building on top of it as a delight
Mhm.
factor. And then you fall into the trap of being, oh no, I really want to go do that because I'm a feature PM. I would say be very cautious about that. Watch yourself when you're doing that, and don't be that PM who want to do it all. Prioritize having a strong foundation of your product first and then build on top of it. So be quite diligent into making that decision.
Mhm.
um, for anyone who's aspiring to break into product management space, I'd encourage them to read up on what are the new technologies that are coming, what are the new features that people are building and putting into the market right now, how's the product industry shaping up right now, and be curious, be in be curious to learn why certain product A doing the same thing one over the other product B doing the similar thing. So
Mhm.
for example, there are so many platforms out there to listen music to, but there are certain platforms that have excelled, there are certain platforms that are doing okay, and then there are certain platforms that exist but are nowhere there in the
Mhm.
competition. So as a PM, aspiring PM, I would be very curious to learn what's happening there, what's cooking up. And all of them are quite similar, but one does amazingly well, one does not. So
Yeah.
I'd be very curious to learn. And I really like to learn and read up on product failures
Okay.
because those are the things people have put so much of hard work into and yet it failed, right?
Mhm.
So what happened there? Do this analysis, do this postmortem of, okay, what could be the learning here that I could potentially take in and not repeat when I'm building my future, my features.
Mhm. That makes sense. So thank you so much, Seema, for sharing all those amazing insights. This officially brings us to the end of today's podcast. Hope all of you have enjoyed the episode and our discussion has helped learn something new. Stay tuned for more such exciting episodes. Thank you so much for tuning into Product Unfiltered.
Thank you so much for having me. All the best.